I've seen 3 back-to-back Bollywood films in 24 hours, so this is going to be slightly rage-filled because each film has progressively become worse and has been a reflection of the state of Hindi cinema right now. Put your seatbelts on because this is going to be a wild ride. I immediately, after getting disappointed with Bhool Chuk Maaf and the lack of novelty that existed with the filmmaker's approach with a cool concept, went for Kesari Veer, a movie starring Sooraj Pancholi, Suniel Shetty and Vivek Oberoi. This is a movie that had insane potential, a historical epic on one of the attacks on the Somnath temple and the grit and valor showcased by Veer Hamirji Gohil. The Somnath temple has been consistently attacked across history by invaders for their goal towards destroying the unity among Hindus in India and making sure that the Bhagwa Rang gets replaced by kings accepting Islam as their fate. This is a movie that could have been as impactful as the 2019 film Kesari, focusing on the Battle of Saragadi, where 21 Sikhs fought against 10,000 invaders. The reason why I create that parallel is because of the similarity in the disproportionate nature of battle. A handful of Hindu or Indian warriors versus an entire army of invaders. However, Kesari Veer, which clearly looks like an attempt to relaunch someone like Sooraj Pancholi, is extremely poorly made, both from a production and screenplay perspective, and it genuinely breaks my heart that a tale so inspiring could be showcased in such mediocre fashion. The film from a technical perspective gives you the tonality as if it has the budget of an Indian TV serial. Every shot that showcases the expanse of India looks like stock AI footage, and most of the time when one wants to present a backdrop of a large expanse of nature, it is the most low effort digitally rendered green screens you can think of, giving me flashbacks to what a sore to the eye the Telugu film Shakuntalam was with Samantha. If a film is technically poor, it of course can have a redeeming arc if its screenplay and performances are effective. And we have discussed many times on how incompetent products of nepotism often get shielded or cushioned by being cast around capable actors, and this is precisely what happens here. Sooraj Pancholi as the brave Hamirji Gohil is an absolute miscast, only camouflaged slightly by the conviction of actors like Suniel Shetty and Vivek Oberoi. While Sooraj Pancholi looks the part physically, being absolutely ripped and sporting the iconic mane most associated with Rajput kings, his expressions throughout the film are either confused or poker-faced, not extracting any emotion, extremely embarrassing for a movie based on such a valiant chieftain, who was, by the way, showcasing such bravery at the age of 16. The problem with this film is that when the sole focus is on the protection of the Somnath temple, the film still has its moments in the line of battle. But the screenplay that builds towards reaching that point is so exhausting and showcases such unnecessary elements that you honestly get slightly offended by some of the creative choices. In this film, Hamirji Goyal is presented as a Rajput chieftain who goes out of his way to protect his own people, associated with the most erratically edited action set pieces that never really showcase his true potential physically. Just incessant slow motion shots with the jarring backlight almost blinding you, and this leads to one of the most cardboard-like, stiff romantic relationships with the character played by Akanksha Sharma, last associated with the award-winning Telugu film Leela with Vishwak Sen. Both the actors boast of minimal expressions, and this relationship constantly acts as a roadblock to the screenplay. The one man, however, who truly revels in this film, has the time of his life playing evil, is Vivek Oberoi as Zafar Khan. See, there is no arguing with Vivek Oberoi's confidence. I remember his infamous statement when he played Carl in Krish 3.
विवेक ओबरॉय ने काल परफॉर्म किया है, वो हीथ लेजर का जोकर जो बैटमैन में परफॉर्म किया था वैसे है.
But Vivek genuinely is demonic and evil in this film, actually understanding the assignment of what this film required from the antagonist. Even though it seems straight up like an extension of Ranveer Singh's Alauddin Khilji, the otherwise mid-film in its entirety is somewhat salvaged by Vivek and Suniel Shetty. Suniel Shetty plays a Shiv Bhakt in this film who takes some time to really immerse himself in the role, but when he engages in a line of battle side by side with Sooraj Pancholi, that's when you realize there are levels to this game, absolutely overshadowing Pancholi both physically and from a performance POV, all at the age of 63. The film is inundated with terrible and comical CGI. Suniel Shetty and Sooraj Pancholi in several instances are found flying in the sky. There's random digital female lions in this film, odd blood splatter. The blows, sometimes with the swords, never hit the extras and they go flying in the sky. There is a random song with Africans in the forest. The unnecessary romance coupled with the bad acting is a sore to the eyes. Hamirji is going in the line of battle as Zafar Khan is about to attack the Somnath temple, and the film randomly stops for 15 minutes of romance, a wedding and a sohagrat. The action is absolutely all over the place, never having a start or finish. Every 15 minutes of the movie, the storyline is halted for a song and it abruptly ends for some dramatic dialogue or action to start in the same abrupt fashion. Sooraj Pancholi absolutely lacks any kind of screen presence, and I think this is the biggest disservice to a film and a role that deserved a capable actor. Sooraj barely lip syncs properly in a Garba song and is mostly seen with these confused or poker-faced expressions, not even having the zeal and vigor in his dialogue delivery when wanting to motivate his army in the line of battle. There is a scene where Suniel Shetty motivates his troops, and you just see the difference in quality when you have someone who has a hold on the craft. There are scenes where Sooraj is supposed to be emotional, where he wants to hear the same lori his mother sang to him, and he barely sheds a tear, struggling even through basic emotions. There is a scene where he sees the entire village burn, and he is barely invigorated with rage, still poker-faced when seeing the trauma around him. It's crazy on what clearly looks like a project aimed at showcasing to the audience that Pancholi should be taken seriously as an artist. It is the veterans who are killing it and not the main lead. He again is in great shape but totally out of his depth in this role, only shining in the climax action set piece and nothing more. Do the makers think that they can present such a story and that it will be immune to criticism just because it is about Hindu pride against Muslim invaders? How any criticism will be labelled as anti-national or anti-Hindu? The case of creative liberty is an understatement in this film, only shining in the final climax battle, but doing an absolute disservice to an exceptional story of the valor of a Rajput leader. More importantly, it I think was disrespectful to his legacy that such a performance was associated with it. It makes me assume that the makers really hoped that we'll just lap it up for its religious and national context. The third and final film that I caught with every part of my being wanting to not watch it was the official remake of Romancham, another remake by Bollywood that was unnecessary and poorly executed. What do I even say at this point? You think it wasn't enough that you ruined one of my favorite Malayalam films, Bangalore Days, that you are now on this streak of ruining every single one of them? Romancham was so much fun. What is the need to remake it? I want to be kind and empathetic with these reviews, be artistically sound, but Hindi cinema keeps on breaking my heart. You know I'm a fan, right? This relationship is genuinely turning into a toxic ek tarfa wala pyar love affair. What's the difference? From Bangalore, we are in Faridabad. Does that excite you? What is the difference between the original and the remake? I'll tell you. While Romancham was mostly devoid of female characters, the Hindi film introduces two women as their neighbors who they go gaga over. And the second thing, the iconic music of Sushin Shyam is replaced with mid-tracks that add nothing of value to this film. You remember the iconic walk out of the wedding in Romancham, where the entire crew of guys are just vibing? Yeah, the Hindi remake replaces the same vibe with an item song. Trust Hindi cinema to butcher something even so basic. This film is directed by the late director Sangeet Sivan, who passed away last year and had an interesting career in Malayalam and Hindi cinema. Kapakapiii, with all due respect, is a scene-to-scene mediocre remake of Romancham, with nothing really deviating from the original plot, but because the makers in Hindi cinema have a tendency to spoon-feed concepts, the presence of the ghost is way more explicit than the Malayalam film. You know what's scary? When the presence of a spirit is implied and the makers make use of the eerie atmosphere. However, in the Hindi film, the makers utilize jump cuts with random characters in order to throw you off, not really adding to the story, especially done with Sonia Rathi's character for no fault of hers, but it's random and nothing more. Shreyas Talpade gets some moments where he gets to shine because he is a capable actor. Even Abhishek Kumar has some moments while transitioning into Tamil while roasting his friends, but it's very much emulating what I have already seen. There is no novelty as the film plays out like a play-by-play of the original. The same volleyball, the same unemployed folk, the same case of lack of job opportunities, and the aimlessness that leads to them exploring the Ouija board. Tushar Kapoor plays the same role, so hilariously portrayed by Arjun Ashokan in the original film, and it's literally a play-by-play of what he exactly did. I just sat through this film hoping for something unique, hoping for some unique gags, but it's lazy filmmaking, hopping on the bandwagon of an already successful product, hoping and wishing that Hindi cinema viewers are dumb enough to not explore other languages and assume this to be such a cool concept. Those days are honestly gone, and this approach is only going to cause Hindi cinema's own downfall. I am so exhausted at this point. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Kesari Veer and Kapakapiii. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.